Hi, everyone. My name is Wayne, and I'm the CEO at CargoScout.com. Logistics can make and break a business. My startup is focused on cutting the time spent in coordinating shipments and helping logistic companies lower their costs. The problem is that it takes a logistic coordinator 90 minutes and 60 responses to deliver a shipping container. Employees often re-enter the same information up to 4 times. This costs them $78 per shipment. The entire West Coast ports, not including the rest of North America, moves 8.5 million containers a year, costing $663 million. Furthermore, because logistic companies deal with numerous shipments one at a time, it is very difficult to identify what loads can be combined to reduce the need for a second run. By doing data processing for our customers and our vendors, our B2B SaaS product reduces the time spent to 20 minutes and helps save $150 million across our coverage on the West Coast. This provides a single point of contact to process information and eliminates re-entry of data for all stakeholders. Furthermore, with the data, we help identify opportunities to optimize shipments that minimizes the need for a second run and lower CO2 emissions and maintenance costs. Our competitors are Flexport and Uber Freight. Both Flexport and Uber have developed their own exclusive technologies to compete with other logistic companies. I am the sole business founder. During my 3 years in logistics management, I have made numerous industry connections and successfully sold 40,000 in revenues within a single month at a former startup in Y Combinator. I'm working with 2 UI designers, 3 advisors, and a web developer. We are based in Vancouver, and we started 1 year ago. We make our money by charging per shipment. We have delivered 19 shipments and processed $10,500 in revenues from year to date. Plus, we have a letter of intent for an upcoming project with a multinational logistics company. Thank you for your interest. Kindly reach out to me to discuss opportunities to scale.
Nice. All right. Good job, Wayne. And while we wait for him to come into this room, I guess we can start to get some feedback.
Yeah, I'll jump in there. I think I mentioned this to the other panelists on here that I have like a passion for the logistics space. So I think it's really, really cool to see at least a couple of concepts make it through. I think it's super important and a very good thing to talk about. I think this is just more of communicating the value prop. I think too often in logistics, the focus is on efficiency and cost savings, but you could actually speak to the value you're creating for someone in terms of how it impacts their sales or how it prevents stockouts or something that goes downstream of the value chain. Just because there's going to be a number of audiences that you're going to be pitching to or pitching a solution to, people who may not be doing the work day to day. You're kind of hitting different areas of the C-suite. So make sure that we're speaking in downstream language. I think that would be incredibly valuable to your pitch and also your value prop.
Wayne, you're muted.
Did Wayne give feedback or say something? I don't. Did Wayne give feedback or?
I didn't realize my mic was muted. Yeah. Thank you very much, Michael. That was really appreciate that. It's very important to know how to optimize that. Besides just looking at improving efficiency, because at the end of the day, it depends like what kind of level of efficiency we want to know how much that matters to the bottom line in terms of the dollar value that can be gained from other suppliers. So that would be the freight forwarders or the trucking companies that are managing their costs in their operations.
So I guess a point of feedback, I really liked the competitor slide, not because of you listing your competitors, but sort of the visual showing sort of how all these other logistics providers could leverage and use you. I saw that, but I didn't hear it. And I'd love to have you talk about how we are a network business, that, we provide Flexport-like software to all these other folks, right? Because I think truly not every one of these logistics companies could provide or even build that sort of software.
Yes, that is very true, because there's a lot of traditional logistics players in this marketplace, and they're getting a chunk of their business being taken away from some of the new entrants with better technology. And there's not that many technology providers that are able to come up and switch the kind of platform, the kind of technology that they're providing. So you have cumbersome software like SAP and internal records management systems that logistic company use, and that is the big problem is those systems are not interconnected to each other, whereas Flexport and Uber offer a connected platform, but they only use it exclusively for their own partners and their own customers, and they do that because they see that there is an advantage in a technology playing field. And what we want to do is to provide this technology to our partners and our customers and enable them to compete with the new technological entrants in this logistics industry.
Wayne, so I think you nailed the landing. It was pretty strong. I think all of us were kind of like nodding, going, cool. Right at the end, he's like crashed it. I think the slides were super busy during. There's just a lot going on that made it a bit of a mess. It doesn't matter too much, but I do think good design will kind of help though in that regard, because it speaks about your product. Like your product is about making something simpler, and so I'm kind of like, if this is messy, right? Like, and it might not be indicative at all. I had a question, and I don't know if I got it answered. And someone else also asked it. It looks like a bit of a red ocean, pun intended. How are you better than all the other competitors? Like, there's so many companies doing this, like, all over the world. You're a solo founder, got a couple of people working with you. Sometimes that's a bit of a yellow flag in terms of like, you're the only person with so much skin in the game, technically. So the question directly is, how are you better than everyone else? And then, do you think you're going to need other people on the team to help you create this and make this worldwide?
Yes. There are quite a lot of startups and a lot of new entrants in the supply chain logistics field, and that's absolutely the biggest differentiator is that I've worked in this industry before and had 3 years experience across logistics management as well as selling logistics services, which differentiates myself from a lot of other startups that only have probably the technological side, or they have a technology side, but a business founder that does not have as much experience in both, how these services are sold and how the operations are actually taking place inside a trucking and warehousing operations. Now, there are already a lot of established players in this industry that have a lot more experience, a lot more resources, but the other part with this industry is that you have like businesses of all kinds of sizes. You have trucking companies, warehousing providers that have, say, more than 500 trucks, or they're just between 50 to 100 trucks, and they have their own sweet spot in terms of operations. For us, we focus on import containers and only dry goods in import containers, and only on the West Coast major import hubs in North America to start. So that is Port of Vancouver, Port Los Angeles. Those are my most familiar territories, and I've stuck with them in my 3 years in this field. And that's our strategy of growing, is to build up our concentration of volume in that area and slowly scale it towards other partners, vendors, and customers across the North American space. Now, regarding the technological side, we haven't really built a back end. The way we do this is we built a front end when we do things that are manually. So we have wireframes and mock-ups, things that don't scale. We present them to our customers, and I've been doing this in the last 10, 12 months to identify what works across multiple different customers and users that I work with. And what we came up with is that many of the smaller medium-sized firms that have, say, between less than 250 employees prefer a type of dashboard management method that can be visualized, that is focused on visualizing their operations rather than a system that focuses on just the complexity of numbers and have a lot of complex forms or tasks that they have to use in order to manage their trucking warehousing operations. Yeah.
All right, thank you.
All right, nice. Any other questions from our awesome panel? All set? All right, awesome. All right, everyone. Thank you so much for sticking around and viewing our first Party Pitchers Pitch event. Have a great rest of your night and see you in September, where we will have 5 more amazing companies join us in the hut. Until then.